yeah, commercial real estate has been another, I guess, big trend that people have watched in the past few years. It probably hasn't been as, even though we've seen these big announcements, it hasn't been, I guess, the movement that maybe as quickly as people were thinking. But we did see recently, I think it was last week, there have been some banks that have starting to write down some of those loans. So do you think that could be sort of a catalyst for another credit event, or I guess at least another wave of the Fed having to come in and sort of save some of these banks? Or what are you currently seeing there?
Well, it certainly does give you pause. It's not so much one bank in New York, New York Community Bank Corp, and that's a small bank. And you say, well, there's nothing systemic about that, and that's not problematic. And then you wake up the next morning and learn that there's a big bank in Japan that has got some serious losses in American buildings, in American commercial real estate. That's a different dynamic. When it's a parallel to German Landesbanks. We found out in 2008, having concentrated holdings of U.S. subprime mortgages. It said, but I didn't see that coming. You didn't see that coming, and I didn't know that this big Japanese bank was going to come out last week and say, yeah, it's our problem too, halfway around the world.
So I think what you're saying there is still sort of a bit of an unknown about who's holding the bag, I guess, and then when are they going to have to write it down?
Yep, that's exactly right. And we've seen, by the way. It's one thing to talk about commercial real estate holdings that are United States on a Japanese bank balance sheet, but it's another to see, commercial real estate in local markets, whether you're talking about Melbourne or Singapore or Hong Kong. So it's definitely a global phenomenon that merits monitoring very closely, because it's not just U.S. commercial real estate that appears to be deeply impaired. We know that there was speculation and paying too much, paying too high of prices all over the world. Cheap money was a global phenomenon.
Yeah, it's a good point. And I think, I'm sort of living in London at the moment, one of the frothiest markets. And those are really the places where a lot of people paid, maybe not for the best things, but for the sort of second and third tier properties. That's where they've paid over, and they're going to really struggle to make their returns back, and going to have to take losses, I think.
Yeah, and that's really where the zero bound would come in handy right now. But we're nowhere near the zero bound. We haven't even seen the first rate cut. But when it comes to a lot of these people that are in financial distress, whether it's commercial real estate or the need to refinance bonds, the zero rate sure would be a big help right now.